Chiefs lose their 5th straight game. Then the Chiefs will go to 1-5. In the pocket, snap, header, caught, touchdown, Kansas City! And the Kansas City Chiefs have won 8 consecutive games.
Rich Gannon, I don't think there's any doubt that Andy Reid has done one of the best jobs of head coaching in this league this year.
Kevin, I've always been impressed with his ability to handle adversity. I always say there are 2 types of coaches in this game: those that feel pressure and those that apply pressure. Andy Reid is all about applying pressure.
He has been steady. The wind will be steady today, 23 miles an hour and building, 35 degrees. There is some precipitation in the forecast, especially tonight. The Browns won the toss. They have deferred. Knile Davis is back for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he comes in as the number 6 kickoff return man in the league. And Travis Coons will be booting it for the Cleveland Browns. The wind at the back of the Browns. It's Cleveland and Kansas City, and here comes Davis on the fly from the 9. We are underway, week 16. With a stop on the play on a 29-yard return by Mostert. Here is a look at the guy at the helm, Alex Smith, the quarterback for the Chiefs.
Yeah, seems real comfortable in this offense. It's an offense that features a kind of a quick-hitting passing game. So I don't think the win is going to be as much a factor for a quarterback like Alex Smith. The ball usually comes out pretty quick.
You see, the Chiefs are going to be beginning here at their own 35-yard line. They are number 1 in the NFL in starting field position. It's always a lot of little things, but that has been a very important one for offensive coordinator Doug Peterson and this Kansas City offense. Wilson in motion, 1st and 10, outside they go, caught by Macklin. He works on the rookie Gaines with a catch and run of 14 yards. He takes it to the Kansas City 49-yard line.
Well, I'm not surprised to see him go right after the rookie Charles Gaines. The corners have really struggled in Cleveland, especially since the injury to Joe Hayden. In fact, he has been out. It's a real area of concern right now for Mike Pettin.
Macklin is nearing 1,000 receiving yards. It's 1st and 10. Kendrick West wrapped up as he hit the line by the veteran Randy Starks, the 2-time Pro Bowler. It is a gain of 1. He gets out to midfield, and taking a look with a flag thrown on the play. It's against Kansas City. Walt Anderson.
Holding, number 81, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Holding by a wide receiver, that is Jason Avant. We had a couple of receptions last week in Baltimore for the Chiefs. So that's going to make it 1st and 20.
He actually tackled the safety Dante Whitner right in the hole.
That's never good.
Never a good start there. Probably a play you shouldn't have run. They ran that strong side run right into a strong side blitz by the Browns.
Cleveland has 5 in their secondary, 1st and 20. Albert Wilson, good blocks. You saw him on the other side. It's a gain of 4, hit by Shelton. Takes it up to the 44-yard line. In the middle of that offensive line is a rookie out of the University of Missouri, Mitch Morse. He's started all season long. They did a lot of shuffling early in the season, but they now have used that 5 and been pleased. And we just talked about Macklin. He is closing in on a 1,000-yard season and a number 1 Pro Bowl registered for the tight end, Travis Kelce. We just heard Rich talk about him in our open. 2nd down and 15. West, he got by Kruger, and then he works his way down the sideline before he's belted out of bounds by Carlos Dansby. On a gain of 7 into Cleveland territory. Danny Shelton is a rookie, and they like his upside. A starter all season, really coming on as the season has progressed. Dansby just made the stop. He is a good one on that line. Now in his 12th year out of Auburn, and we've already seen the rookie Gaines get beat. He is taking the place of the injured Pro Bowler Joe Hayden. Gaines is out of Louisville, 6th-round pick, 3rd and 8, game's opening drive. Well, Kruger checks.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Paul Kruger on the wing.
Right at the top of the screen. Good look at it. A good job in a 3rd and long situation, using the hard count to draw off Kruger. Now you put yourself in a very manageable situation on 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd and 3 now. Was 3rd and 8. That changes the play completely, doesn't it?
Gives you options, and you can run it here in this situation if you choose.
Another tight end has been brought in, 3rd and 3. Smith, Rester's open. Ian Chase has got the first down. Takes it to the 38. Hit by Tramon Williams in the secondary. On 3rd and 3, he picks up 6. It's a Chiefs first down to the 38 of the Browns.
Well, Alex Smith is really good. It seems like every week, Kevin, he makes a couple of these decisions on 3rd down to pull it down and run. And we talked about the importance of the hard count, getting yourself in a manageable situation where Alex Smith had some options there on 3rd down.
Smith coming off a game against the Ravens last week in Baltimore. He was 21 of 25 for 171 and a touchdown pass to Macklin. 1st and 10. Albert Wilson. Kelsey trying to throw a block in from behind, brought down by K'Wan Williams. It is a gain of 3. He's got some speed, and he takes it down to the 35.
You know, I've studied this Browns defense, especially over the last month, Kevin. I'm really surprised they haven't played the run better. A year ago, they were dead last in run defense. It's been a point of emphasis in the all offseason, and yet they're currently 31st in run defense. Give them 135 yards a game. It's been a problem for far too long. They've given up more than 2,000 yards rushing in 14 of the past 16 seasons. Good look at defensive coordinator Jim O'Neill on the Browns sidelines.
With a 2nd down and 7. Here he goes again, needs the 28. He's close to the first down, hits the 29, and he runs for 6. He ran for 6 before. Just quickly on that Browns run defense, Rich, they said because of cornerback issues this year, the run defense for Cleveland has struggled.
Well, it's part of it. I don't know if I buy that entirely. Look, they want to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. With the issues they have with the corners now, they've got to play a little bit more two-deep coverage and be a little bit more coverage conscious, and so that has made it more difficult for them to put the extra body, the extra defender, down around the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 1, watch for West. He's one of the best in the NFL at converting 3rd and 1. Here's Sherman ahead. West gets the call. There he's got the first down, squirming right there. Charcandrick West has now converted 9 of 10 3rd and 1 rushing attempts. He picks up on the play 3 and moves the chains for the Chiefs.
And we've talked a lot about the reasons for the turnaround to Kansas City Chiefs and why they've won 8 in a row. I think the offensive line has had a lot to do with it as well. They have played a lot better over this 8-game winning streak. It's allowed the quarterback to play better, and it's allowed these young running backs, whether it's Charcandrick West or Spencer Ware, to really hit it up behind that big offensive line.
Ware hurt his ribs, did not play last week, hasn't played so far. 8th play of the drive, opening up the game 1st and 10. Into the nickel. He's got the tight end, Kelsey. And he was brought down by Dante Whitner after a gain of 5. He's down to the 21-yard line of the Cleveland Browns.
A really good conversation with Alex Smith about his Pro Bowl tight end, Travis Kelsey. He said he's become more of an every down tight end this season, a willing blocker in the running game. And I think he was always good versus man-to-man. He always had the ability to uncover. I think where he's been better this season is finding the holes versus zone coverage.
From Cleveland Heights, Ohio, is Kelsey, who played at the University of Cincinnati. 2nd and 5, 6-minute drive. Fake to West, off to Albert Wilson. He's out of Georgia State, caught 4 last week in Baltimore, catches another one right there. He's got 10 yards on the game to the 11 of Cleveland.
Well, he's going to come right out of the corner of your screen and a little slant route off the play action fake. Look at the squeeze it gets on the linebackers. It opens up a nice little window for Albert Wilson, who has really performed a whole lot better in this offense over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
And probably helped by Macklin on the other side, right? Because he draws so much attention.
You remember how they struggled a year ago, Kevin, even getting production at that position? Not a single receiver scored a touchdown last year for the Chiefs.
3 tight ends, 1st and 10 from the 11. Smith, pocket crumbles, he throws it away. Heavy pressure put on by Randy Starks. Incomplete. Second down and 10.
Well, he holds it as long as he possibly can, and good pass rush here by the Browns. You see the hit here at the end is going to drive him right to the ground. Good finish there by Randy Starks.
One of the things people have talked about, though, is Smith, he makes a read and then he quickly pulls it down, right? Is that
yeah, he's very decisive. He doesn't spend a lot of time back in the pocket holding it. But there's a couple things you can't do in this part of the field. You can't get penalties, sacks, and turnovers. It's a good decision there by Alex Smith to throw it away on first down.
Base defense. Orchard now comes a linebacker / defensive end to defend. 2nd and 10.
Boy, it took a while to get that orchestrated.
It did. And the Chiefs have taken a timeout. And they're in that red zone because of the importance. Smith will go over and talk with Andy Reid. 7:57 in the first. Chiefs just took a timeout. Long drive. 11th play coming up. 2nd down and 10. No orchestrated drive. Smith 4 of 5. Into the nickel. Smith. Touchdown. What a catch. Macklin. He's just gone over the goal line, and he has just gone over 1,000 yards receiving. 11-yard touchdown strike.
Well, you're going to see right. He's going to run the post route. They do a nice job spreading him out, getting in this empty, open formation, and you're going to get one-on-one with no help in the middle of the field. A perfect throw by Alex Smith in the back of the end zone.
Macklin has caught a touchdown pass for the 2nd consecutive week. He has made an immense difference to this Kansas City passing attack.
Really a player that the quarterback can trust in critical situations. 3rd down in the red zone. Really a nice throw in a tight window.
And held the ball through the catch and through the fall.
Well, what an impressive opening drive. They overcame the Jason Avant penalty. Kevin, we talked about the importance of getting off to a good start. Very similar to last week against a 4-9 Baltimore team. You don't give a 3-11 team any confidence or reason to play early.
Rich, you said in the opening, so you got to take away their spirit. That's what that 7-minute drive did.
Yeah, really nice job by the Chiefs.
At least to start the game. Santos will tack on one more. 7-0 Kansas City. Macklin caught one for 14. Wilson caught one for 10. And then this rocket thrown by Smith to Macklin. And the Chiefs score first in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Amazon Fire TV. Change the way you TV. And by the Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event.
Well, the Chiefs with a 65-yard, 11-play drive. And we do know that Cleveland has started the last couple games well on offense, Rich.
Yeah, they did a really nice job the last couple of weeks, Kevin, getting off to good starts and scoring on their opening possession.
Well, Santos is going to kick off with the ball being held because of the fierce wind on this nasty day in Kansas City. Raheem Mostert is deep back. He is a rookie and a free agent out of Purdue. And the Browns about ready to get it. Into the breeze. Mostert will bring it out. He was in camp with Philadelphia. Went to Baltimore, Miami, and knocked out of bounds right there by Kansas City's special teamer Jamel Fleming. With a return on the play at 25, a flag is back at the 16-yard line.
Holding number 53, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Cleveland.
Linebacker and backup linebacker Craig Robertson. Here's a look at Johnny Manziel.
Well, no question, Kevin. He can make all the throws. He's got a quick release to go along with it. You know, as I mentioned in the open, I think clearly the decision-making and the accuracy from the pocket have improved over the last couple of weeks.
So here come the Cleveland Browns, led by Johnny Manziel. 6th start this season. The Heisman winner out of Texas A&M from the 8. Duke Johnson in the backfield. Rookie Johnson gets the call, looking for a block from Dre, and forced out of bounds by Smith. He works his way up near with a gain of 4. Near about the 12-yard line. Joe Thomas has played in the NFL 9 years. Every single season he has gone to the Pro Bowl, doing it again along with the center. And Gary Barnidge should have been a first ballot Pro Bowler. He'll be a Pro Bowl alternate. What a magnificent season he's had. 930 receiving yards at that tight end. Top 5 in the league. Second and a long 5. Manziel. Here comes Ford. There goes Johnny. Oh, and he had the receiver Barnidge. Wide open. But Ford got right up in the grill of Manziel.
Boy, he's got him. The safety, for some reason, runs right by Barnidge. He's got his eyes in the backfield, and this was not an easy throw for Johnny Manziel, even though Barnidge was wide open. Johnny had some pressure in his face in the pocket.
Chiefs have gone multiple in the secondary.
They'd like to spread you out on offense, that's for sure.
5 wide. Nickel secondary, 3rd and 5. Oh, it was almost picked off on the play by Berry. He's going to the Pro Bowl. They're looking for Duke Johnson. Here comes the punting unit out there for the Cleveland Browns.
He just misses a slant throw to his left. And sometimes his footwork is the issue, Kevin. If you go back and look at his feet, watch his left foot. Watch it spin open. He never finishes at the receiver. That left foot's got to be towards the receiver. It's been a problem. It's why he's missed some throws to his left.
3-time Pro Bowler Andy Lee will punt. And deep back is Frankie Hammond Jr. The wind at his back. The punt landing at the 45, then out of bounds. Kansas City's going to have some pretty decent beginning field position. They lead on an 11-yard touchdown pass. 47-yarder, 7:02 in the first. The Chiefs win today in a loss by either Pittsburgh or the Jets. The Chiefs are in the playoffs. Ryan Mallett signed last week for Baltimore. Has thrown a touchdown pass to Chris Matthews with an early lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Baltimore. From the 40-yard line. Second possession. So a long drive by the Chiefs offense. A 3-and-out by the Browns offense. They had about 50 seconds. Kansas City's got it again. West in the backfield. He gets the call. Jeff Allen with a block. And a good run. Knocked out of bounds by Tashawn Gibson. He picks up 22 and he takes it to the 38-yard line of Cleveland.
Well, just watch the center and the left guard. They're going to pull, and watch how they cave in the whole left side of this play. I mean, right here, couldn't freeze it. I mean, they just cave in the whole left side. Look at the running lane for the back. I mean, a nice job cutting on the edge.
Ice it on. On. Yep.
With a 1st and 10. This is Spencer Ware. In the game for the first time in a couple games. Bruised his ribs 2 games ago. Gain of 3. Brought down by the rookie Danny Shelton. The gain to the 36.
Well, they got Spencer Ware. They're able to rest him a lot last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Was banged up a little bit, but he's a guy that comes downhill with a purpose. And I really like how both of these backs are running right now for the Chiefs. Both West and Ware both have some attitude, and they like to finish runs.
Ware was a late draft choice by Seattle. Let go on Kansas City's practice squad and then brought up after week 5. 2nd down and 7. Ware again. Good cut. And he finds himself in the grasp of a couple, including John Hughes, after a gain of 3, and he's down to the Browns 32.
It's amazing. You lose your Pro Bowl back, Jamal Charles, and you have 2 young guys that step in and really perform well. And I think it's allowed them to continue to do what they want to do, run the football and be a play-action team, move the quarterback around a little bit, and stay in manageable situations on 3rd down.
Yeah, they lost Jamal Charles in mid-October. They played here against the Bears, and he blew a knee. These guys have all come in. West back in 3rd and 4. There's a bobble and retrieval by Smith. We've talked about early on, no gain on the play. We talked, obviously, Rich, early on about ball security. You always talk ball security. That really is the forefront of this Kansas City 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, and here's just the mistake by the center. He snaps the ball before the quarterback or the rest of the team is ready. It happens every once in a while, not very often, but remember, Kevin, he's still a rookie, Mitch Morse. Just a bad mistake in that part of the field. Now the Chiefs decide to go for it on 4th and 4.
4th and a long 4. You can see what they've done on 4th down this season.
Try the hard count here.
West is in. blocked by Reed. There goes the quarterback. He's got the first down and more. Alex Smith. He's down to the 23, picks up 9. He's had a couple of runs today, and they have been productive.
Well, Kansas City has made a living out of this, and Alex Smith, and the Browns got to do a better job. I mean, just look at this hole. I mean, the guy, you know he's going to run. It's what they've been talking about all week. Their key, stop the run, contain the quarterback, don't give up the big play. But they're not doing a good enough job early in the game containing Alex Smith.
It's a 1st and 10. Dropped up left, no place to run, no place to hide. Hit again by Starks and a loss of a yard and a play. Rich, I always thought when you were playing the quarterback position that you relied on that running at least to kind of get things jump-started, and you were successful at it.
Well, I think, I always like quarterbacks that have some mobility. I think, I encourage them to be able to make a couple first downs with your legs each week. And, I think sometimes we think of Alex Smith as a game manager. We have all these labels, but the thing that you forget about him is how dangerous he can be outside the pocket when he decides to pull it down and run.
Team has run 6 consecutive plays. Here is a 2nd and 11. It's outside for Kelsey. Whitner had a handle on him. And then Williams pounds him down with a gain of 3 on the play for Travis Kelce to the 22.
Well, just in talking to the coaching staff last night, Jim O'Neill, Mike Patton, they all said the same thing. Look, no problems at all with the way this team practices and prepares. They play hard. They haven't given in. And that's not easy when you're a 3-11 team and it's around the holidays and you don't have a lot to play for. But this team continues to come out week in and week out and fight to the finish.
Their concerns, they told us last night, that she's running the ball and Alex Smith on 3rd down. Right now, 3rd and 7.
Better start spying on Alex Smith.
Alex Smith looking underneath, incomplete. Good coverage by Gibson. They were going for the tight end, Kelsey, who is a little bit slow to get up. He's had some injuries.
They're really nice coverage you mentioned by Tashawn Gibson. He's in a position where it makes it very difficult for Alex Smith. He's trying to use the boundary, but one thing you can't do is undercut that throw and throw it behind the intended receiver.
Until that incompletion right there, Alex Smith had completed 10 consecutive 3rd down passes going back to last week. Here's Santos, who had a couple of field goals last week, including a 53-yarder in Baltimore. This is from 40 into a breeze. And that wind pushing it. 10-0 Kansas City. 40-yard field goal. 2 Kansas City possessions. 2 Kansas City scores. We're in the 1st from Arrowhead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Crunchwrap Sliders. 4 full-size flavors only at Taco Bell. And by New York Life. Here to help you keep good going.
That's the old train station here in downtown Kansas City, Union Station. At one time, that was the 2nd busiest train terminal in the world in back of Paris. All dressed up, as you can see right there, on this holiday season. Tuesday on CBS. It's a star-studded night celebrating legendary artists, including the man behind Star Wars, George Lucas. Stephen Colbert hosts the Kennedy Center Honors. Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. 40-yard field goal by Santos. Mostert. He'll reel it back in and then brought down by Frank Zambo. Taking the place of Ali in the linebacking core. 12-yard return. Another look at Johnny Manziel when we come back to Kansas City. There's Johnny Manziel, and he's got Isaiah Crowell, the leading rusher, in the backfield with him with a 1st and 10.
An awful field position. Their first 2 drives starts at their own 8. Now their 13-yard line. Tough to go 90 yards against this Chiefs defense.
They held it 50 seconds the first time. Here is Isaiah Crowell. There he goes, galloping into the secondary. Brought down by Parker. What a burst by Crowell. That was a beauty. Racing for 29 and some breathing space to the Browns 41.
Well, look at them collapse the right side here. Nice job, and you're going to see the hole open up at the double team on the defensive tackle. And Crowell right up on the 2nd level. They really ran the ball well a couple weeks ago against the 49ers. That's going to be key again today against this Kansas City defense. They have to be able to run the ball in the early downs.
Chiefs have 5 in their secondary. 1st and 10 for Johnny Manziel. Crowell again. He had that terrific run brought down there by Derek Johnson. He picks up 4 on the play. 145 on the ground for Crowell against San Francisco a couple weeks ago. Thought your fantasy season was over. It's not. Play for free and you could win a trip to Super Bowl 51 in 2017. Join today at NFL.com/playoff challenge. Yeah, the 145 you laid on the Niners was very impressive a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but since then, Kevin, they've really struggled. Really just 29th in rushing this season.
2nd and 6. Duke Johnson will dance his way and finally get hit by Moga. Plays that outside backer. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and he's up to about midfield. All right, the Kansas City defense. Dontari Poe is in the middle. He's been in the Pro Bowl past years, not this year. Anchors that defensive line. We told you that Tom Bahali is out, had hand surgery this week, so Frank Zombo will take his place. And Marcus Peters, who is a rookie out of Washington, may be the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. 7 interceptions. Bob Sutton says he's one of the best young guys he's coached. 2 touchdown returns for Peters. He had 2 picks last week in Baltimore, including a 90-yard pick six, 3rd and 1. Johnson brought down from behind. Dee Ford. The Chiefs are number 1 in the league, stopping 3rd and 1. And they did it right there. Dee Ford with his signature play. Second punt in 2 possessions for the Cleveland Browns. Andy Lee into the wind, and Frankie Hammond Jr. is back inside the 10 for the Chiefs. Hammond from the 12. Got by Poyer. Brought down by Tank Carter. 8-yard return, 39-yard punt, and right at 4 seconds on the hang time. And again, the wind fool with it, and through 1/4 of play. These are some of the numbers, and look at the time of possession early in this game.
Yeah, that's the big one, Kevin, right there, that time of possession. And of course, Browns have a very difficult time moving the ball and converting on 3rd down. And they've not done a good enough job containing Alex Smith. He's really hurt them pulling the ball down and running. He's already got 21 rushes, or 21 carries, or 21 yards on 4 carries.
You saw second-year head coach Mike Pettin. Ware is in. 1st and 10. Spencer Ware. Out of the teeth of that defense. Cooper and others jump on him with a gain of a yard on the play up to the 21-yard line. Kansas City 9-5 coming in. The Cleveland Browns come in 3-11. They began the season 2-5, then 7 consecutive losses. Now they've lost 8 of 9, and like we said in the open, Rich, playing for next year, working on the young players who will be the future of the team.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to finish strong, carry some momentum into the offseason. Everyone is being evaluated, including the coaching staff, and I think that's why these next 2 weeks are critical for everyone involved.
It's a 2nd down and 9. Here comes Ware. Knifing his way and then brought down once again by Xavier Cooper, who's a rookie out of Washington State, and that's a gain of 4. He's up to the 25.
Well, you look at this Browns defense, and they have really had their struggles on the road. They're just 1-6 on the road, and they've allowed at least 30 points in 6 of their 7 road games this season. And in talking to some of the coaching staff, that man right there, Jim O'Neill, they've been a very inconsistent tackling team. They haven't tackled well enough this season, especially on the road.
Final road game of the season for the Browns. 3rd down and 4 here. West is in. Chuck Kendrick up to the 29-yard line. Hughes was there, and Kirksey was there. With a gain of 3, they're short by about 1.5 yards, and Kansas City will punt for the first time today.
Well, nice stop there. Really nice effort inside John Hughes, and comes off the block. And it's a good stop for them. We'll get some good field position here. They need to do something with it on offense.
Here's the number 4 punt returner in the National Football League. You just saw him, Travis Benjamin. He's returned 1 already this season, 78 yards for the Browns touchdown into punt, Dustin Colquitt. With wind at his back and a poor punt from the 29, Benjamin. The block, and then he was drilled on the side. Chris Conley, that number 17, a rookie out of Georgia who they like a lot. Incredibly athletic, comes up with a big-time hit, 15-yard return, 43-yard punt. Another look at Johnny Manziel on CBS. Offensive coordinator John DeFilippo had Josh McCown, a veteran. Now he's got a second year. Johnny Manziel is the quarterback.
I like John DeFilippo. Look, it hasn't been easy, Kevin. He's had to play with 3 different quarterbacks. You mentioned that without Josh McCown. You got a young guy in there, and you're going to see what he can do here the next couple of weeks.
Manziel looking deep for Trey. Incomplete. The tight end was there. The coverage by Marcus Peters in the secondary. So it is second down and 10. Jim Trey was in the sights of Manziel.
This ball just sails on Johnny Manziel. You got to be able to drive it when the wind is in your face. Just watch this ball.
Oh my gosh.
It just came out a little bit funny and it just sailed on him. That would have been a very difficult catch for the tight end, Jim Trey.
So when you say drive it, what do you mean? Keep it low?
Yeah, you got to keep it low, and you're fighting with the wind. You got to be able to drive it. You put some air on it, it's going to get moved around here quite a bit.
Crowell once again finds his way into the secondary, hit by Berry, picks up 9, had a 29-yard run in the last series, and a first down run, close to it at least right there.
Yeah, the more I look at it, you can see the ball just kind of flutter on him, and it looks like he was in between what to do, wasn't completely sure whether or not to pull the trigger there, and that one just left his hand kind of funny.
So Manziel 1 of 4, Crowell 3 carries and 41 yards. Crowell's back there right now, 3rd and a long 1. The pitch fake. Manziel wide open. He's got the tight end Trey. Knocked down in the secondary by Parker. The catch and run to the Kansas City 29. 19-yard pickup. Nice play. First down, Cleveland.
Well, really, he's gonna fake it. Watch the kick out block, and then the tight end's gonna come right back underneath, but the action with the toss gets all the linebackers moving to their left, and a really nice design and great execution by Johnny Manziel.
Dwayne Bowe, top of your screen, former Chiefs All-Pro receiver, has been a disaster with the Browns in his first year. Here's a 1st and 10 handoff, and Crowell is met on the play by Derek Johnson, the leading tackler once again, with a gain of 2 down to the 27.
Well, he hasn't really played a lot this season. Kevin, you mentioned it's been a bit of a disappointment. Look at the numbers that he brought with him, and just 5 receptions this season. He's been a healthy scratch way too often, and I think a lot of it is just not detailing his work. Too many mistakes, whether it's in practice or in games, and just not a lot of confidence he's going to do the right thing in a critical situation.
Yep, mistakes. Problem. 2nd down 8. Here they come, Manziel looking for Bowe with an incompletion. And they may have blown that play. It was a penalty on the Chiefs.
It starts with Dontari
Offside,
Poe.
number 55, defense.
D4.
5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Today is 4th consecutive start for the injured Pro Bowl linebacker Justin Houston.
Well, they get Dontari Poe and D4 to the top of the screen. They get the blitz coming. They can't wait to get home. The Browns get a bit of a break in this one, Kevin. The Chiefs are without their 2 best pass rushers, Justin Houston and Tamba Hali. Good opportunity for D Ford, who really had a breakout game a couple weeks ago against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, where he had 3 sacks.
Duke Johnson in the backfield, 2nd and 3, 2 tight ends. They'll throw outside to Marlon Moore, former Miami Dolphin. Loss of a yard. Nice play in the secondary, turned in by Ron Parker. Parker's had a nice season. He's got 4 sacks, Rich, from the secondary for the Chiefs this year.
Well, the sacks come from all over the place when you really study this defense. They've got 6 different players with at least 4 or more sacks. That's tops in the league this season.
Bowe back in as a receiver for the Browns. 3rd down and 4. They set the Guinness Book of World Records for stadium noise here earlier. 3rd and 4. Here goes Johnny Manziel. The pitch out outside to Duke Johnson. And there goes a flag. He may have crossed the line of scrimmage as he pitched on that 3rd and 4.
This is the thing you worry about when you decide to blitz Johnny Manziel. He can pull it down and run. Unfortunately, I think he throws this one when he's in front of the line of scrimmage.
Gain of 11 as it stands right now.
Yeah, you see the pressure coming to his left. Does a nice job stepping up. Now watch when he lets go of this thing. He's at least a yard in front of the line of scrimmage. At least it looked that way.
That was a throw. Not a pitch, it was a throw.
There is no foul for an illegal forward pass. The pass was ruled as backwards. First down.
Well, I don't know if it was, though.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it that way either.
Let's take a look at it.
They may challenge this one. I thought he was pitching forward. Here goes the challenge.
Yeah, Andy Reid wants another look at that one.
Did it look like to you that the ball was going forward?
If it's going backwards, then it doesn't really make a difference where he tosses it. It's a question of where he actually is going to catch this thing. Well, I don't know. It looks to me like it's going forward. Certainly,
Kansas City
you watch the back, it looks like Duke Johnson.
The pass was backward.
And the ball was a leading throw to Johnson, but there is a challenge. 9:15 in the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Volkswagen. And by Dirty Grandpa, in theaters January 22nd.
The Chiefs have challenged a play by Johnny Manziel that it was a forward pass.
After reviewing the play, when the quarterback threw the ball, it went forward. That's an illegal forward pass, number 2 of the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty from the 22-yard line and a loss of down. It'll be 4th down at the 27. Kansas City will not be charged with a timeout.
Mike Carey officiated Super Bowl 42. Mike, you've watched the play. What do you think?
Yeah, so here is the rule. From the instant it leaves the quarterback's hand, you determine whether it's forward or backwards from the instant it touches something, in this case the receiver. Now generally when you throw a ball backwards, it goes backwards, but when you're running forward, it's very difficult to throw a backwards pass. And in this case, they ruled that it went forward, therefore the reversal.
Mike, thank you very much. Here is a 45-yard field goal try by Travis Coons. He's got a right groin injury he's battling, but he nails this baby to put the Cleveland Browns on the board. 8:58 in the first half. 45-yard Cleveland field goal. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominees for the teams today. For the Cleveland Browns, Gary Barnidge founded the American Football Without Barriers Foundation. The international nonprofit aims to develop American football in underprivileged countries around the world. For the Chiefs, Eric Berry began his foundation, which has helped children both here in the U.S. and internationally as well. The winners will be announced on February 6th during the NFL Honors Show, airing right here on CBS.
Yeah, they're both good guys. How about Gary Barnidge, Kevin? He rented out a movie theater on Christmas Eve using his Twitter account. He invited the first 500 people who showed up to watch Star Wars with him. He does these kind of things throughout the season. Very generous with his time and talents.
And a terrific player. Coons with the kickoff. And from the 3-yard line, here comes Niall Davis, who is brought down by Poyer. Jordan Poyer, former Eagle, 21-yard return. Well, the Chiefs on the ground. This has been a part of their mix.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, and we talked about the quarterback, 21 yards rushing on 4 carries. It's a big part of their success. And Charcandrick West, 34 yards rushing, including a long of 22. But the guy that's driving the Browns crazy right now is the quarterback, who's made some big plays on 3rd down with his feet.
4 carries, 21 yards for Alex Smith. 4th possession after a 3-and-out. Last time they had it, 1st and 10. Charcandrick West in the backfield, blocked by Fisher, the left tackle, going deep. He's got Conley, who's held, and a flag is thrown. Tramon Williams got him. And Conley had a beat on him. And the veteran Tramon Williams, who was a Pro Bowler with Green Bay back in 2010, caught.
Pass interference, number 22, defense. First down at the spot of the foul.
40-yard Cleveland penalty.
Yeah, without Joe Hayden in the lineup, Tramon Williams is their best corner. You see that right arm there. He's got him hooked. He just panicked once he saw Conley go by him on the post route.
And Williams really, Rich, is not a lead corner. He's a number 2 corner, and he now thrust into the number 1.
Yeah, and he's a guy that gives him some versatility. He can play outside or he can play in the slot. I think he's been a good addition to free agency, but he's not Joe Hayden.
Quick throw, bobble, drops Macklin. And Dante Whitner right there, a hard hitter. One time he thought about taking the W off the back of his name.
Dante Hittner.
Yeah, it could be called Dante Hittner.
Dante Whitner's right there, reminded him, hey, you come in the middle of the field.
It's going to happen.
You're going to pay a price.
It's going to happen.
He's a physical safety. Both these safeties, you look at Deshaun Gibson and Dante Whitner, they have a tendency to be aggressive with run action, but both would prefer to play down around the line of scrimmage where the action is.
He was arguing with his teammate last week in that game.
He's telling the rookie.
He's a tough customer.
He's telling the rookie to mind his business.
Second down and 10. Up the middle for Kelsey. Oh, he slips by 2. Whitner brought him down. At about the 33-yard line with a gain of 9 for the tight end, Travis Kelsey.
Well, you talk about tackling. Here's a good look at Deshaun Gibson. He comes in, he's going to swing and miss, and Dansby overruns it. Whitner finally makes the tackle, and yards after contact, yards after catch have been a big problem for the Browns on defense this season.
Kansas City comes in 9-5, second place in the AFC West, number 5 in the AFC. They've won 8 straight. Where? Look at him dig and turn. Mader finally brings him down. Jamie with the tackle, very consistent player in the middle of that interior on the defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. On a gain of 3 down to the 30.
And Spencer Ware played some fullback and running back at LSU, and it's a guy that works to finish runs. Very good in short yardage and goal line situations.
He was a all-state quarterback, was Ware.
Went to LSU and saw all the quarterbacks were 6'4" and 6'5" and said, maybe I should play running back.
First and 10. Going deep, and he's looking for Wilson. No yellow. Tramon Williams with the coverage as they were going for Albert Wilson. Second down and 10.
We talked about these safeties being aggressive, so they step up, and I think that's fine. He just touches him on the shoulder there. It wasn't going to catch it anyway. But they're going after Tramon Williams. And they're mixing it up. A moment ago, we saw Chris Conley, and now they send Albert Wilson to the post.
Well, just throwing it long, Rich, as a former quarterback, you know what that's like. It does a lot to help your offense, even if it's incomplete.
Yeah, it keeps them honest. Makes them defend the entire field.
Rest in the backfield, second down and 10. Sherman, the fullback, is there as well. Underneath, they go to Macklin. Get the hit right there by the Louisville rookie, Charles Gaines. He's now playing in his 6th game. That's a gain of 8 right there, down to the 22 of the Browns.
They're still not where they want to be with the passing game, the Chiefs. They're just 28th in passing offense, just a little over 200 yards a game through the air. But there's so much, the quarterback is so much more comfortable because of those two right there. The tight end, Travis Kelsey, and Jeremy Macklin. These are players that he trusts. He knows that they can win versus man. They know how to find and sit down versus zone, and it's really helped them this year in the passing game.
3rd and 2. Smith, congested pocket, almost picked off, and it was by Orchard, who takes it the other way. Here comes the rookie out of Utah, flying down the sideline, and tackled from behind by Reed. The Browns' first takeaway in the last 4 games. Tramon Williams, interception off of Matt Schaub in week 12. And on the ricochet, it's the rookie Orchard who comes up with the pick.
It took a while. They were deciding who was going to finally get it. And what a great effort there by Nate Orchard. I mean, this is big. You talked about this is a defense that has had a difficult time taking the ball away. Not only does he take it away, but he takes off in the other direction. It's a great effort here by Fisher. He saves the touchdown.
So who are we going to give that to? Are we going to give it to Orchard or are we going to give it to
Get an
Robertson?
assist. It's like hockey. Ball was bouncing all around.
That's the second interception in the last 366 passes by Alex Smith. First and 10, Duke Johnson Jr. And there's Dontari Poe. Poe brings him down after a gain of a yard. Devours him at the 40.
Kev, that last play just took way too long to develop. I mean, Alex Smith was staring that one down, and for a guy that usually gets the ball out on time, we always use the expression, if you wait, you're late.
Orchard, his first career interception.
They've got some great field position now. Now they have to be able to capitalize on this turnover.
Chiefs came in plus 15 in the takeaway giveaway. Second down, 9, Manziel. Intercepted! Picked off by Peters. He's got an entourage. He gets by Johnson. He gets a block downfield by Zombo. He's just picked off his 8th pass of the year. A 46-yard return. He has just tied the Chiefs' single-season interception record held by Bobby Hunt from 1962.
Well, you just have a faster player. He's just baiting the quarterback to throw this to the tight end, Barnidge. Marcus Peters, he's got better speed and quickness. And talk about a guy that had 2 picks last week. Took one back for a touchdown. He has been an incredible addition to this Kansas City defense.
How about that? 3 in the last 2. We saw it last week in Baltimore. First and 10, Kansas City. Smith outside Wilson. Big hit right there. What a drill by Kirksey. He played at Iowa. Big hit right there. Flag thrown downfield at the 12.
Prior to the pass, holding number 22, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Marcus Peters, like we said early on, may be the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now with 8 interceptions, 23 passes defensed, obviously high in the entire NFL. 2 pick sixes, first-round pick, and a beauty.
Yeah, and they do a great job taking advantage of the turnovers. They've scored 119 points off of takeaways already this season.
First and 10. Wilson again. They're using more and more of this young player. Finally, Danny Shelton was there to get him. Dante Whitner also had a hit on him. It's a gain of 2 when he's down to the 22.
We saw Shelton out before the game with his shirt off. And he's a guy that probably had his best game of the season last week in Seattle. And he's a big nose tackle. And they feel he's got a bright future in the middle of that defense.
Number 1 pick. Danny Shelton before the game.
He meant business.
He meant business with a lot of business.
That's great to see. Guys that love football. And there's a guy that loves football in the middle of that Browns defense.
Or loves cold weather, one of the 2. Second down and 8. This is West outside. Good read on it. Knocked out of bounds by Tramon Williams. And a loss of a yard on the play. He read it well. Tramon Williams, they signed him for big money as a free agent from the Packers.
The Browns are starting to tighten up a little bit on defense now. A better job clamping down and making it difficult for these receivers to get into the transition of the run.
The time of possession in this game, Kansas City is zeroing in on 18 minutes in about 8 minutes for the Browns. 3rd down and 9. Into the nickel. In fact, 6 defensive backs back there for Cleveland.
They're going to get to Kelsey, the tight end, he flinched.
Ball start, number 87, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Kansas City's offense comes in number 24. Cleveland's defense comes in number 26. But Rich, number 31, you mentioned this earlier, against the run.
Yeah, it's been a problem all season. Give up a little over 135 yards a game on the ground, scoring, 31st in scoring. Numbers aren't good on defense, although they have played better here the last couple weeks.
3rd and 14.
Hey, fire down these two. Fire down 56. Hey, fire down these two right here. Let's go, Greg.
They need the 14. Fisher holds him out. Here comes Alex Smith. Foot race being chased by Dansby. And he gets close. Did he get it? Looks like he did. A flag has been thrown back at the 29.
Holding, number 71, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's on Jeff Allen, who's been battling injury this recent season with an ankle. Starting today.
Yeah, he's going to get beat across his face, and then as the quarterback starts to scramble, you're going to see right there with that right arm, he just grabs the defender, and that allows Alex Smith to have some space. I mentioned Jeff Allen banged up a little bit this year. Zach Fulton has played there as well. But collectively, those 5 men up front have played a lot better during that 8-game win streak.
Knocked him out of field goal range, perhaps, with the wind swirling as it is. 3rd and 24.
Quarterback draw. What time?
And he's brought down in the play by Kruger after a gain of 5, and he's down to the 34 of the Cleveland Browns.
You know, Kevin, we usually wait till halftime to make our halftime adjustments.
Yes.
If I'm Cleveland and I'm Mike Pettin, I'm talking to my defensive coordinator, Jim O'Neill. I said, you better have an answer for how we're going to stop number 11. He's hurting us more than anybody right now, pulling the ball down on 1st down, on 2nd down, and on 3rd down, making plays. They're not doing a good enough job with a coordinated pass rush to keep this guy contained in the pocket.
That's Benjamin back inside the 10 for the Cleveland Browns, and Dustin Colquitt is going to punt for the 2nd time here in the first half for the Chiefs. So they can't do anything with the Marcus Peters interception.
It's a good stop by the Cleveland defense.
And this will go back to Benjamin. Get the great bounce for the Chiefs, and picked up by Williams at the 9. Tramon Williams got it on the bounce, 26-yarder. Again, inside 20 yards for Colquitt. Timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
That's part of the Truman Library, built on a hill overlooking Kansas City and the beautiful skyline of this terrific Midwestern town. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report. JB, Tony Bart, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores and news and highlights, as well as an analysis of the first half. All coming up in the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios in New York. After a Kansas City punt, Manziel stranded inside his 10. It's Crowell with a great defensive play by Tyvon Branch. He had a touchdown run and a fumble recovery last week. We've got the 2-minute warning at Arrowhead. Andy Reid and the Chiefs began 1-5. They've won 8 consecutive games. They're 9-5 and number 5 in the AFC playoff picture right now. If they win today and a loss by either the Steelers or the Jets, the Chiefs are in the playoffs. You can see Fitzpatrick has thrown a touchdown pass for the Jets. Now a touchdown pass for Baltimore. We're at the 2-minute warning with a 2nd down and 12 for Johnny Manziel, stranded at his 7. Good slant, caught, grabbed by Darius Jennings, who is a rookie out of UVA. He's out to the 15, and he picks up 7 on that quick hitter. 3rd down. Timeout Kansas City. So they now have 1 remaining. Manziel walking to the side. Clock at 1:53 in the first half at Arrowhead. 16 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And then tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. I'll be in Denver with the NFL Network's Kurt Warner. 3rd and 4. Chiefs have a timeout. Cleveland has 3 in their pocket right now. Manziel. Crumbling pocket. Look out. He floats one up. It's incomplete for Benjamin, who's covered by Sean Smith, and he had pressure coming, Rich, from all sides. The punting unit is on the field.
Well, you have to make a decision if you're Bob Sutton, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. Do you rush with 4 or do you rush with 5 and 6? And I think you're better off rushing with 5 and 6 and collapse the pocket around a 6-foot-tall quarterback and make him sit in there and function as a pocket passer. You rush forward, you give this guy too many lanes to run around and scramble.
Manziel 4 of 9. Former San Francisco punter Andy Lee. Hammond Jr. back at the 35, hang time of 4-5, and he's brought down right there. Poyer makes his second special teams tackle for the Cleveland Browns. 9-yard return, 49-yard punt, and the Chiefs have one timeout. Coming up in the Verizon halftime from New York, JB and Company scores, news, highlights on this Week 16, as well as analysis. Here are the first half. That's all coming up in the Verizon halftime report. That guy was busy a couple of days ago.
Sure was. Unfortunately, he didn't come to my house. You know, I'll say this, Kevin. The Chiefs have been very good in this situation. They've scored 8 times in the final 2 minutes of the first half.
Last 3 Chiefs possessions, 3 in punt, interception. Orchard picked it off, and a punting situation. Chiefs began the game with 2 straight scores, including an 11-yard touchdown pass to Macklin from Alex Smith. 1st and 10, 1 timeout. Look out. He was hit by Mingo, and he gets away, and he's got an open field with which to work, and down to the 26. What a run by Alex Smith. He has been all over the field, a 29-yard pickup and over 50 yards on the ground rushing today.
Well, Markevius Mingo is right there to make this play. You got to be able to finish. Alex is going to step up. You got your hands on him. He's able to slip away. He's very strong in the pocket, and we've seen this so much through the first half. Him pull it down and run and really hurt this secondary.
54 yards on the ground for the quarterback today. Smith 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 27. This is West. Look at him move around, and Gibson brought him down along with Gaines in the secondary on a gain of 3, and down to the Cleveland 23. Alex Smith with some running ability and putting the Chiefs once again in scoring position. Well, that's kind of inverted. Nonetheless, Smith has made a difference.
Yeah, they have no answer for the quarterback, and you know, he's a smart player. He sees man-to-man coverage. He sees these corners and linebackers with their backs turned towards the line of scrimmage and knows he can pull it down and make some big plays with his legs.
One time, no timeouts now. 2nd down and 7. Smith looking for a throw to Avant with the coverage on the play in the secondary by K'Waun Williams. It's 3rd and 7 for the Chiefs.
When you really study Alex Smith, he's going to look. It's funny, we're talking to the Browns a little bit last night. They say he looks to the tight end or to Macklin, and then he looks to pull it down and run. He's quick to pull it down, and that's the one thing I think as you're rushing the passer today and you're wearing one of those orange helmets, you've got to be very cognizant of this quarterback. He's quick to make that decision to run.
5 in the secondary. Smith has had a quarterback rating over 100 in 4 of the last 5 games. 3rd and 7. Got a block from West and by Fisher. Down the sideline to Kelsey. The catch at about the 13. And a gain of 11 and a Kansas City 1st down.
Little cat and mouse game. They're not sure. Mingo's not sure whether the quarterback is going to run. We've seen so much of it, and so he just baits him, and he's able to throw the ball on the boundary to his Pro Bowl tight end.
And he did not have maybe as secure a hold on that ball as he wanted. But they will not look at it upstairs. Anything under 2 minutes, of course, is a booth review that they initiate.
Tough spot for Mingo to be in, especially when you consider how much the quarterback has run in the first half.
Here they go. They are going to look at it.
The first charge timeout, Cleveland, 30 seconds.
And that's why they called it, maybe to give that booth a little bit more time, Rich, to take a look at that previous play.
Yeah, you get a good look at it here. He does double clutch it, but I think he's able to gather control and still get that right foot, drag that right foot in bounds. You know, I always say it's easy when you catch it the first time, but he's taking a peek. I think he's able to gather it in just there at the end.
Well, Rich, 3rd consecutive winning season for Coach Andy Reid and the Chiefs, 9-5 record, 8 consecutive wins. This has been an incredible season of lows with a 1-5 start, and now here right on the doorstep of the playoffs.
Yeah, but there was no sense of panic, Kevin. We did them in week 1. We saw them in the middle of the season, and it wasn't perfect, but Andy kept reminding this team that they're getting better, that you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they kept coming to practice every day, working hard and believing in one another. And here they find themselves now 9-5 and real close to making it to the playoffs once again under Andy Reid.
You saw the Ravens, and if Pittsburgh loses and the Chiefs win, Chiefs are in. 1st and 10. Quick throw, touchdown, Kelsey! His last touchdown reception was a month ago here against Buffalo. He just tumbles in for 6 on a 13-yard touchdown pass by Smith.
Boy, as a quarterback, you just love a big target. He's just working on the corner, and it's a perfect throw by Alex Smith, blown away to a 6'5", 260-pound tight end that runs routes sometimes like a wide receiver. That's why he's going to the Pro Bowl.
So about a month between touchdown receptions for him, but he gets that right there. Here's Santos to tack on one more with a half minute to play in the first half. And he got it, drills it with the wind, playing with every ball that's in the air, whether thrown or kicked. And he got that through, and it's 17-3 with the Chiefs. And Travis Kelce out of the University of Cincinnati, number 5 in receiving yards among tight ends. And going to his first Pro Bowl with his performance this year, he is close to 1,000 yards receiving.
Well, Kansas City in the first half, I mean, you look at the numbers, and just 77 yards of offense for the Cleveland Browns, and Johnny Manziel just 4 of 9 for 30 yards with the interception. Got to find a way to get this guy jump-started in the second half. They need to bring some jumper cables into that locker room for some of these players.
Well, we told you the Chiefs have won 8 consecutive games. There are a lot of teams that have got winning streaks, including the 18-game winning streak of the Panthers dating back to last regular season. And the Chiefs ride at 8. And the Arizona Cardinals have put together themselves with Carson Palmer and a division-clinching title in the NFC West. 8-game winning streak. And what about Seattle, Rich? 2 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, and they are peaking at the right time.
And it really reminds me of last year when you look at the Seahawks. They won 6 straight to finish the season a year ago. Of course, went to another Super Bowl. And about Carolina, they're in a dogfight down there against the Atlanta Falcons. They're tied at the half.
Darius Jennings is back, and he's back there because Mostert hurt his ankle earlier in the game and being evaluated, questionable return. So Darius Jennings, a rookie, will bring it out. Reserve wide receiver met by Sorensen and whacked right there near the 20-yard line on a 21-yard return. Tonight on a new undercover boss, a company known for sweet treats, has a boss who can make things sour. New undercover boss tonight after 60 minutes only, CBS. So the Cleveland Browns at 3-11, losing 8 of 9, and their quarterback with a 4 of 9 start through the air, have it at their own 20-yard line with a 1st and 10 and 2 timeouts. And into the wind. Got by Poe, hit by Johnson, flutters one up, incomplete. And who is there? Peters.
Boy, he almost served up another
Wow.
one. Wow. That's a bad decision by Johnny Manziel to throw it late down the middle. He's getting flushed out of the pocket. He's going to get pushed to his right. Just a 4-man rush, but they close it in on him quick. You see Dontari Poe, D4, and he throws this one late down the middle. And Marcus Peters has a chance for another interception.
20 seconds left. Chiefs have no timeouts. He could actually take a knee here, Rich, and go in safely and not have another turnover. 2nd down and 10. And he'll swing it downfield and caught by Barnidge. Grabbed by Berry. Pushed down by Branch. It is his first catch today for the Pro Bowl alternate. 24-yard pickup, catch and run near the 44. Good play by Barnidge, one of the best in the business this season.
Yeah, their best and most consistent skill players has been the tight end. Gary Barnidge leads the team with 68 receptions. They don't have the Pro Bowl caliber players right now at any of the skill positions at wide receiver, running back, tight end, or quarterback, and it's been a bit of a problem for John DeFilippo, the offensive coordinator. He's got to get creative. He's got to find ways to get Travis Benjamin open or Duke Johnson. They don't have a ton of playmakers at wide receiver opposite Travis Benjamin.
Arnold's trying to get to 1,000 yards. Only Ozzie Newsome and Kellen Winslow at that tight end position in Browns history have ever reached it. Barnidge is right there, very close. 1st and 10. One timeout. Johnny Manziel gets away, and here is where he is electrifying. Makes a move on Derek Johnson.
Got a timeout.
Maga, that's right. Johnson brings him down. A scramble of 22 takes it down to the Kansas City 33, and 2 seconds left.
Well, he has the rare ability with his feet both inside and outside the pocket to make these type of plays. He can drive a defense crazy, and these are the spontaneous, unscripted plays which are such a big part of his game. I mean, you just can't defend these type of plays, and this is really where he's at his best.
Travis Coons is on the field. Manziel scramble for 22 and pass to Barnidge for 24. Now a 51-yard try by Coons. All 3 of his long field goal attempts this year have been blocked. A 51-yarder into a nasty wind. And that was blocked again. 4 of them. First block since 2012 for the Chiefs. Looked like Jay Howard may have gotten a hand on that one.
Kevin, this to me just seemed like it took a while. I mean, it's a good snap and a good hold. It just seemed like Coons was in slow motion.
Sorensen, perhaps. First block in 3 years. That's our halftime. Chiefs on top, 17-3 on CBS. Intercepted, picked off by Peters. Quick throw, touchdown, Kelsey. It's the Chiefs on top, 17-3. We're going to start the 3rd quarter here from Chile Arrowhead. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Welcome back to our broadcast booth where it is cold. We leave the windows open up here, so we're like the fans out there. Rich wants it that way. Kevin Harlan
I insist on it.
I know. What do you think of the first half and adjustments for the second half, Rich?
Well, it took the Browns a while to get going, especially on offense, and they've got to find a way to get this offense cranked up a little bit. I think that's the issue right now. They've got to find a spark, and I think maybe it starts with Johnny Manziel running around a little bit more, taking a page out of the book of Alex Smith. That helped on that last drive. They unfortunately weren't able to finish it. But I think defensively, they've got to do a better job containing the quarterback. Maybe it's time to put a safety or a linebacker spy on Alex Smith, because he's really hurt them rushing for 54 yards in the first half alone. And I think on offense, the Kansas City Chiefs need to keep pounding the football. They've had a lot of success running the football, 111 rushing yards already in this one. I think defensively continue to do what they're doing. They're getting a lot of defenders up around the line of scrimmage, especially in passing situations, and making it very difficult for Johnny Manziel to figure out who's rushing and who's dropping in coverage. They got to get that guy going in the second half, Kevin. Kind of a slow start for Johnny Manziel throwing the football.
Rich, we talked to him last night here in Kansas City at the Browns Hotel, and you came away impressed with Manziel on a couple different fronts.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, Kevin, I think it's a process. I think he got off to a kind of a rough start. You know, it's his second year in the league. It's a new offensive system. That's never easy. Of course, he had the setback that happened prior to the bye, or during the bye week, and I just think he's continuing to learn what it takes to play at this level. I mean, you know, there's a lot that goes into playing at this level, and a lot of it has to do with before you even get to the game on Sunday. You know, it's the preparation during the week, and I think he's learning how to prepare better. I think you talk to the coaching staff, it's an area where he's improved. You know, he still has a ways to go. There's no question about it. Just in terms of the decision making, his ability to handle the entire offense, his ability to get him in and out of bad plays. I saw a situation right before that started a 2-minute drive where Bob Sutton decided to bring a strong safety on the very first play of the series. He wasn't able to change that play, to get out of the play and to get yourself into a better situation. And that takes time for a young quarterback.
Our delay here is because our referee, Walt Anderson's microphone has had a short circuit.
I wonder why. It's freezing down
25 mile an hour winds, 33-degree temperatures. There is a winter storm watch in the Kansas City area coming up tonight and through tomorrow, 9 o'clock. This is just the opening of it. Here over the holidays, over the Christmas holiday, it was probably in the 40, 50-degree mark. But there you see a look with that wind chill. It is bone chilling. Also, Rich, you were talking last night about an honest assessment needed in everything with this Cleveland organization. We're going to talk more about that as we get into the second half. They come in 3-11. The Browns do. Chiefs at 9-5. Chiefs have won 8 straight. Browns have lost 8 of 9. Second half, Cairo Santos will boot this wind-aided kick taken by Jennings. Mostard is out with the ankle, at least for right now, and he'll work his way into the grasp of Desmond Moses, who trips him up. Number 54 with the 24-yard return.
Well, Manziel didn't get off to a good start in the first half. Misses a throw early. This one just got away from him, just kind of fluttered into the wind. Footwork here more the issue. When he misses a throw, typically it's because his feet aren't where they need to be, and there's just a poor decision. Really got baited by the rookie corner, Marcus Peters. They need to open things up here a little bit. Let this guy move around. Get him out on the edge of this Kansas City defense.
Manziel's got it at his 18-yard line with the first down and 10, and Crowell in the backfield. Crowell had a couple nice runs in the first half. Manziel takes it himself, and he's got wide open room to roam. Looking for a block from Jennings, falls at the feet of Smith, and he slides his way into Kansas City territory at the 48-yard line with a run of 34 on first down.
Well, they're going to take advantage of Frank Zombo. He closes. He's trying to tackle the back. Johnny Manziel sees the squeeze, and he pulls it. And we talked a little bit about letting Johnny use his legs a little bit, a lot like the Kansas City Chiefs did in the first half with Alex Smith.
First and 10, Crowell. He was hit initially on that line by Bailey, then works his way for a gain of 3 and was brought down by Dontari Poe. You mentioned Manziel before. He has gotten a lot of help from Josh McCown, a veteran who is respected all over the league.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. I mean, I expect nothing less from a guy like Josh McCown. He's a consummate professional. He's on our injury reserve. Doesn't have to even be here, but he's coming to the building every day, constantly giving Johnny Manziel tips and reminders and alerts in certain situations. He's been a good friend to the young quarterback.
Travis Benjamin on that 2nd and 7. He may have hit the deck, and the ball was free, and he picks up 8, which means a first down to the Kansas City 37. Good throw by Manziel. That is a dangerous player right there, Travis Benjamin, who's a little bit shaken up.
Yeah, just watch the corner. Watch Marcus Peters here. He's going to get that right arm in there. Watch him rip and strip. He's a terrific player, Kevin. Talk about the interceptions that he makes, but look at that alert play there. He's going to rip that ball right out of the hands of Travis Benjamin. Well, he's having a sensational season. You know, Kansas City, they love these bigger, longer corners that can press you and jam you at the line of scrimmage. They've got 2 good ones in Marcus Peters and Sean Smith, and that was one of the concerns that John DeFilippo had, the offensive coordinator of the Browns. He said, we got to win at the line of scrimmage in the running game, but the size of their corners against our smaller receivers is a major concern, whether or not we can get off the line of scrimmage and all this press man-to-man coverage that we're going to see.
Benjamin is out. Bo, here, bottom of your screen, the former Chiefs receiver we saw in the first half, is in. First and 10. Crowell is the running back, and here he goes. Malga will get him after a gain of 2, and he crosses the 36 and near the Kansas City 35.
Now, this Kansas City run defense has been solid all season. Currently 7th in run defense. Give them just a little over 92 yards a game on the ground, but it starts with that big nose tackle, Dontari Poe.
Well, you were talking about this earlier. Just 3 opposing quarterbacks, Rich, have had a quarterback rating of 100 or more. Only 3 in all the games they played.
Bob Sutton's terrific, Kevin. He's one of the better defensive coordinators in the business. A lot of people don't even know about him. He does a great job in this 3-4 scheme, changing up the looks, giving you different coverages, and bringing constant pressure.
Duke Johnson Jr. on 2nd down and 8. He was University of Miami's all-time leading rusher and all-purpose yard guy, and he just got a 2-yard gain on that pass. Let's go to New York. Here's James Brown.
Is this the second coming of Dan Pastorini?
It might be. Brandon Whedon is playing his lights out. He finds DeAndre Hopkins for his 11th touchdown of the season, fourth by 4 different quarterbacks. Houston dominated 24-0.
Well, I know Kevin and Rich know that name well. Back to Kevin Harlan.
Hopkins, one of the great young receivers, but what about Whedon? He was the #1 pick by this Cleveland franchise a couple years ago.
And what about the job that Bill O'Brien has done with that team, Kevin? You know, every year you play with 3 or 4 different quarterbacks. They win, and they're going to clinch the AFC South.
It's 3rd and 6 for Manziel.
Comes the blitz.
Looks into the nickel. Duke Johnson Jr. He got a block in there from the rookie Irving, and he finds room on a gain of 8. He snakes his way on 3rd and 6 to the Kansas City 25 and a first down for the Browns.
Well, they do a nice job. They're going to wall it off. You see the cutoff block. You see the pull. They're going to bring pressure from this side in the back. It's like 2 ships passing in the night. Really a nicely executed run on 3rd down.
First and 10. Last couple games, the Browns have rushed combined 324 yards. Crowell in the backfield. Manziel again. Mauga can't get him. And he's finally brought down in the secondary by Eric Berry. The ball is loose and picked up, and they may have blown it dead. They did, even though Ford was going to run the other way, and Mike Pettin saying thank you for that whistle. 9-yard gain.
Well, this is good to see. Someone wants to talk to him at the half and say, hey, look, if you got an opportunity to pull it down and run, do that. Clearly he is down before that ball comes out.
Manziel is accounting for a lot of what's going on. Look at these quarterbacks running today on the floor of Arrowhead Stadium.
Now Kansas City has to adjust for the quarterback.
True. 2nd and 1. With Crowell back there, and here he goes with the call. And Derek Johnson will get him with a gain of 5. He's around his ankles at the Kansas City 10.
We've been talking about Pro Bowlers for the Chiefs. They've got 4 on defense, but you look at that offensive line of the Cleveland Browns. They've got 2 good ones as well. Alex Mack going to another Pro Bowl. And how about the job that Joe Thomas has done? 9 straight Pro Bowls since he came to the league back in 2007. He has never missed an offensive snap for the Browns.
Ties the mark of Jim Brown. You saw Schwartz there. Here is a run by Crowell and a block by Dre, and that is a touchdown. Isaiah Crowell takes it in, 11-yard touchdown run. And the Cleveland Browns are back in business with 9:15 to play in the 3rd.
Boy, this is just what the doctor ordered for the Browns. A 9-play, 82-yard drive capped off by a really nice run there by Isaiah Crowell. Great effort to extend the ball across the goal line.
And Schwartz, the right tackle, and Dre, the extra tight end, in there as he hits the pylon and takes it in. And Isaiah Crowell, the leading rusher, has his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. An 11-yard burst right there. He's had some terrific runs of 29 and 9 in earlier drives. With the extra point, it's a 7-point ball game. So the first possession right out of the blocks in the 2nd half, with Manziel running for 34 yards and 9 yards. And then finally the running back Crowell to the house. Richard, you were talking to Manziel last night. You're talking to his coaches. I loved how you said he's one of the most unique quarterbacks right now in pro football.
There's just not a lot of players like him that, that can, the escapability, the maneuverability, the explosive plays that he can make in and outside the pocket.
Poyer with his 3rd special teams tackle today for the Cleveland Browns on Niall Davis. 20-yard return. More discussion with Manziel, his team within 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
World War I Museum, World War II museums in New Orleans. All right, 1st and 10. Chiefs have it after Crowell just ran an 11-yard touchdown run. Charkandrick West. He's working his way off to the side, brought down by Tashawn Gibson with a gain of 3, and he takes it out near the 24. Well, the Chiefs, number 5, if they win and either the Steelers or the Jets lose, Kansas City is in. Well, Pittsburgh's losing by 10 to Ryan Mallett in Baltimore. And the Jets now in a close one with the Patriots in the Meadowlands. 2nd down and 7. Macklin, did he reel it in? The coverage on the play by Gaines. They say it's a catch to the 33 and a gain of 9.
A really nice throw by Alex Smith. This one comes out before Macklin's even out of his break. He has to catch it with one hand initially. Good anticipation on the throw by Alex Smith.
Alex Smith today, 98 yards. When he gets to 109 or more, he'll set a new personal best, a single season passing record for him in terms of yards thrown. 1st and 10. West to the block. He's got Wilson. Brought down to the play by Tramon Williams. It's a gain of 19 yards to the 48-yard line of the Browns.
Boy, Tramon Williams is having a rough day. They're going after him. You see the little slant route. Such a high percentage, very high percentage of throws are within 10 yards of line of scrimmage when you really study this Kansas City offense. Tramon Williams has had a difficult time covering the in-breaking routes.
Are those reads? Is that anticipation? What's the issue there?
Well, look, talking to the coaching staff last night, they've got to get better at that position. The outside linebacker position and the cornerback position have been areas of concern all season for the Cleveland Browns.
Into the nickel, 1st and 10. Smith going deep, and he's got Macklin. Who had a beat on Gaines, the rookie, incomplete. Macklin knew it too. It's the Patriots and the Jets from New York, and here we go to New York with James Brown.
They met at the quarterback.
Yeah, Jabal Sheard getting his 8th sack on the year, and Chandler Jones having a Fitzpatrick sandwich. Jamie Collins picks it up and takes it in 14 yards to narrow the lead. Jets lead 17-13 in the Meadowlands.
Back to Kevin and Rich.
Jabal Sheard was a high pick by this Cleveland franchise at one time.
Isn't it amazing? It's just, don't even get me started. The players that have been drafted by the Browns and haven't worked out, that have gone other places and had success.
Into the nickel, 2nd down, 10. West. Got a couple right there, including Dansby right around his ankles on a gain of 4 down to the 44-yard line of the Browns. And here is a look at the first-round resume drafting.
Oh, it's amazing. You look at Phil Taylor gone, Trent Richardson gone. In fact, both those players out of football. Brandon Whedon gone. Mingo, but it's been a disappointment. Didn't even start. You look at Gilbert, healthy scratch today, Kevin. Manziel, of course, has had his issues. Danny Shelton, he's on a 31st ranked run defense, and Cameron Irving made just a couple starts for the Browns, so they have not had a lot of success with their early round draft picks.
3rd down and 6 for Alex Smith. Blocked by West. They come up the middle. Orchard's got him, and he'll bring him down. It's a sack. Orchard's 3rd in this rookie season for him. The first by the Cleveland defense today. Back to the 47 of the Browns. He also has an interception, does Orchard. A loss of 3.
Well, you're going to see the blitz, and they do a nice job. It takes a while to finally get to the quarterback, but not a lot of places for him to go. I think you need to do more of this in the second half because he's looking to run quite a bit. He's looking for a lane. You're just not going to get one with all these 5- and 6-man pressures.
Dustin Colquitt will punt for the 3rd time today in 7 Kansas City possessions. Benjamin back inside the 10. Wind going sideways. as is the punt. At the 4 and into the end zone and out of the reach of Jamel Fleming. 47-yard punt out to the 20 and a touchback. Here comes Manziel in Cleveland. The night before Super Bowl 50, the NFL will salute the best players and plays of the season in a primetime, star-studded football and entertainment special. NFL Honors, Saturday, February 6th. Only CBS, your home for Super Bowl 50. First and 10 after the Kansas City punt.
Oh, they're going to get Gary Barnidge for moving. Got to find a way to get him going a little bit, Kevin. He had just one catch today.
Ball start, number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Another note, too, for the offense is that Travis Benjamin, Rich, is not in, and Bo is in the contest in his place. Benjamin went out a little bit earlier with an injury.
You talk about your best players, your playmakers. Barnes with just one catch, Benjamin with just one catch.
First and 15, Crowell. Off of that 11-yard touchdown run during the last series. Brought down right there by Frank Zombo and by Dontari Poe with a gain of 3 to the 19.
I think in critical times, you don't think about plays, you think about players. And I'm thinking about, as a play caller, how can I get Gary Barnidge the ball? How can I get Duke Johnson the ball in space? How can we get Travis Benjamin going a little bit?
Benjamin not in right now in the pistol. 2nd and 12. Fake to Crowell. The block by Thomas on Zombo. And Manziel is on the move. And reading it well was Alan Bailey on the Chiefs' defensive line. He got just back to the line of scrimmage, leaned to the 20, picks up a yard on the play.
You go ahead and watch. They're going to run the play action. And you freeze it right about there. Where's he going to throw it? I mean, all these guys are covered right now. And Johnny Manziel, it's a 2-man route. And he's looking to throw it. There's nobody open. The ball's got to come out on time.
Chiefs will put 6 in their secondary. Benjamin is in for the Browns. 3rd down and 10. Duke Johnson Jr. is in the backfield. Manziel again stepping up on the move, being chased and whacked. Grabbed by Derek Johnson. He picks up 2. He gets to the 22. They'll punt.
That's a good tackle by Derek Johnson. He's not going to go for the play fake. You watch as Manziel starts to scramble. He's going to pull that ball up as if he's going to throw it. But Derek Johnson never changes his gait. It's a nice job on the open field tackle on Johnny Manziel.
That's a 33-year-old inside linebacker in the NFL who's played many years and coming back. Oh, there's a fake. There's a fake, and it's Poyer, and he's got the first down as he drives his way up to the 33. What a play. He's made 3 special teams tackles. He picks up 11 on 4th and 8. And Jordan Poyer, who was waived by Philadelphia.
Contact right here.
Who was waived by Philadelphia a couple years ago and became a Brown. Comes up with, he was the personal protector on the punt. They've got him spotted at the 32. They had to get to the 30 for the first. With the discussion, there was a fake punt run by Baltimore against this Kansas City special teams last week.
In a similar situation, remember the Ravens were backed up. Chiefs stopped them in that situation, but I love the aggressiveness by Mike Pettin. Hey, you're a 3-11 team. Why not?
Made the line the game. After the play was over, delay of game, number 33, the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 10, Cleveland.
Well, they're just going to have a direct snap, and it's well executed. After they snap it to the up back, Jordan Poyer, they do a nice job leading him up in the hole, and he does a terrific job fighting and clawing for the first down. Now here's where he kind of, oh, that should be all right.
On that 4th down in the punting formation, and Pettin called for the fake, and he's successful.
Well, they needed to steal possession. They did.
Manziel with Crowell in the backfield, and here's the handoff on 1st and 10. Brought down by Dontari Poe after a gain of 2 near the 30-yard line. Called the 29.
He's a big man, and you look at Poe. He wasn't healthy at the beginning of the season, had off-season surgery, but he has really come on and played well inside, especially the last 4 weeks.
Rich, we're talking to the Cleveland coaches facing this Kansas City defense, but they said quarterback has not been the issue with this team this season. They felt like it's been other things, but not quarterback.
No, it really hasn't. I mean, Josh McCown, Kevin, you and I did the game against Baltimore, in Baltimore, when he left the Ravens, and the Browns put up 500 yards of offense against that team.
Blitzed by Ford, he gets it outside. Barnidge breaks the tackle of Maga. He breaks another tackle, and down he goes with a catch and run on 2nd down and 8. He takes it to the 41. He picks up 12. His second reception right there, and a 1st down for the Browns.
And great reaction by Johnny Manziel. As soon as he turns around, D Ford is right in his face. This is the type of plays that he can make. He's so athletic, gives his tight end a chance. And Johnny has really played a whole lot better here, and he's playing more confidence in the second half.
Barnidge today, 35 yards on 2 receptions. 1st and 10. Crowell. Barnidge trying to block out Ford. Now he turns the corner with a great accelerating move, and he's into Kansas City territory with a 1st down run of 11. Crowell is to the 49-yard line of the Chiefs. He's run it well with 12 carries and 79 yards today.
I think you got to keep feeding Isaiah Crowell, Kevin. He's really running the ball well. They're getting some good movement at the point of attack. Well, they look a lot different here on offense. We talked about a little bit of a spark.
It's running the ball, Rich, right? It's the
it started with Johnny in the first series, and now they're mixing it up, and it's really helped him here in the second half.
Duke Johnson Jr. is in against the call on 1st and 10. And Tyvon Branch and D Ford are right there, limiting him to a gain of 1 yard. Down to the 48-yard line. Hey fans, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every score, every game, and every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now and cbssports.com/mobile. 2nd down and 9. John DeFilippo, first-year play caller for the Cleveland Browns.
They got a lot of young people in that operation. The head coach, general manager, quarterback.
Chiefs in their base defense, 2nd down and 9. They'll buy some time. And Maga will usher him out of bounds. Gain of 6. 3rd quarter has come to a close. The Browns on the move and down by just 7 on CBS. We start the 4th, and Johnny Manziel in the previous 3 quarters, Rich, has done it on the ground and through the air.
Yeah, he's really done a nice job, Kevin, moving this football team. This drive alone, 8 runs and just 1 pass. They're doing a good job getting on the edge of this Kansas City defense with their running game.
And remember, a fake punt with Jordan Poyer taking it as the personal protector and picking up 8. Here's the 10th play of the drive. Chiefs defense has allowed 178 rushing yards today by the Browns. That is a season high without their 2 Pro Bowl outside linebackers, Houston and Holly. Here they come at Manziel. He's chased by Bailey. He'll outrace him, and he's got the 1st down running down the sideline. Manziel runs for 10. Hit hard, brought down by Bailey. A 1st down run.
This is just a terrific effort by Johnny Manziel. I mean, it's a 5-man rush. We've seen a lot of it today against this young quarterback, and you just don't realize. I think sometimes you underestimate his speed. And, Bailey's doing everything he can to make this play. Watch him at the end there. Looks like he comes down awkwardly.
Crowell. Poe hit him first and then finished off by Bailey after a gain of 2. And to the Kansas City 32. Manziel, I think, still trying to catch his breath and his wits after that hit by Bailey on the previous play.
Well, he got up. He was a little wobbly, a little gimpy.
Rich, he does not look at a wristband. He gets the play radioed in, and he just does it by memory. That the attention to detail better there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they've scaled the plan back a little bit in terms of what they had as opposed to what Josh McCown, but he's gotten a lot better, Kevin, each week in terms of his understanding of the game plan.
It's a 2nd down and 8 handoff to Crowell. Works his way down to the Kansas City 26 and picks up 5 on the play. And Poe once again down there on that line for Kansas City.
You know, I'm not comparing him to Fran Tarkenton at all. I think he's much more of a scrambler than a runner. I think when plays break down, I think the good thing that he does is he keeps his eyes downfield looking for that big play. And he just, I mean, we talk about he's so unusual at this position because not only can he run around and make plays, he can throw the ball equally as well, moving to his left or to his right off the scramble.
11 runs, 1 pass on this drive. 3rd down and 3. Plenty of time on the play clock. He will get the 1st down. Running once again, Johnny Manziel. Read option, picks up 8 right there. Takes it down to the 18-yard line of the Chiefs.
Well, when they see this, the center and the 2 guards cover up, they know that they've got a chance to option off the end man on the line of scrimmage. And boy, they've done a terrific job here in the 2nd half, moving their young quarterback around and giving him an opportunity to run a little bit.
It's the 2nd time that he's gotten the 1st running on 3rd down. 8-minute drive, 1st and 10. Duke Johnson. They cut across the green. Not a lot of room. Frank Zombo brings him in, taking the place of the injured Tamba Hali. There's no gain on the play. They stay at the 19.
Well, Duke Johnson, not the biggest back, and when he gets the opportunity, he likes to bounce, runs to the edge, but sometimes you just got to smack it up in there. Too many negative runs sometimes. You look at him talking to his running back coach, the great Wilbert Montgomery. I was fortunate, Kevin, to grow up in Philadelphia and watch Wilbert play with Ron Jaworski and the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a great player out of Abilene Christian.
2nd down and 10. Manziel, and incomplete. Zombo is watching the tight end Barnidge, who on this drive has caught one for 12. Coverage there. He's going to draw a lot of eyeballs. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, you're going to watch Zombo. He's going to grab the tight end as he comes out of his break. You see him get hooked there. They got away with one. That should have been a pass interference call.
You better believe it.
On Frank Zombo.
Rich, do you sense that the outside linebackers, Hali and Houston, have affected how Kansas City's playing defense? 2 Pro Bowlers gone today.
Well, I don't think they've changed the plan a whole lot in terms of what they want to do. It's just they're not as effective. I mean, without their 2 best pass rushers, 2 Pro Bowlers, in Tamba Hali and Justin Houston.
3rd and 10 for Manziel. Howard is coming up the middle. Duke Johnson Jr. He's looking for a block from Irving. He's looking for a block from Pastor, and he's brought down by Branch at about the 10, picking up 8, close to a 1st down.
This is 4-down territory now. You talk about a team that's 3-11. Mike Pettine's already gone, had the fake punt. Why stop now? Team's moving the ball. Your offensive line's playing well. You're getting movement at the point of attack. And
4th down, 2 to go for the Browns, who began this drive back at their 20. 17th play of the drive.
Oh, they're screwed up now. There you go. Seems like Johnny is much more comfortable working out of the gun.
Just 4 defensive backs. Here comes Manziel, and he's got the 1st down. Picks up 3 on 4th and 2. Run out of bounds on the near side. Maga was there. They spot him near the 6.
Hey, just, you know, we go back to his days at Texas A&M. This is really where what he did, operate out of the gun, get people out of the backfield and take a look at it. If it's not there, run around and make a play.
Put him at the 7. 1st and goal at the 7. Manziel on the ground, 97 yards rushing. Crowell, 86 yards rushing. Crowell's in the backfield with a couple of tight ends. 1st and goal, Isaiah Crowell. Was hit on the play by DeVito. Got some assistance from Johnson. It's a loss of a yard on the play. Back to the Kansas City 8. Mike DeVito.
Well, he gives you a full day's work, Mike DeVito. Tough guy. Plays hard. Coming off of a injury a year ago, he tore his Achilles. He and Derek Johnson, the very first game of the season, rehab together the entire offseason and play a lot of snaps for the Chiefs up front.
The Browns are number 32 in goal-to-go situations this season, and a timeout has been taken. An exhaustive drive. Manziel has been at the controls, down by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cialis and by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Massive drive by the Cleveland Browns, down by 7, close to 9 to play in the game. Manziel, second and goal at the 8. Good time, blocked by the center, Mack, and he got it off, but he throws it right to Schwartz, his right tackle, and there goes the flag. He had pressure applied by Jay Howard from that Kansas City defensive line.
All right, hold on.
Find anybody who has a Browns uniform.
Just ran out of options. He saw a white jersey flash and just flipped it to him. He's tired, Kevin. That's a problem right now. He's gassed.
Is he still injured from that previous run, Rich, when he got the first down on the sideline?
It's been a long drive, but we saw him run around so much. And Kevin, I think he had a difficult time getting the play out earlier. That's why they had to take the timeout to play before.
How about
there are
that
2
toss?
fouls
Wow.
by the offense. Illegal touching, number 72. He's an ineligible player. That penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, number 2 of the offense. The quarterback was out of the pocket, but the ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. That'll be a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. It's 3rd down.
That's a double whammy, and you can't fault Mitchell Schwartz. I mean, it's a reactionary thing. The ball's coming at you. You know, natural instinct is to catch it, but Johnny he sees D Ford, he sees a white jersey out there, he can't make out who it is, and he just flips it out there. Maybe he thought it was Gary Barnidge, his tight end.
That looked like a hook pass there, huh? Kind of threw it over his helmet.
He's got terrific body control on the move. I mean, he can throw from awkward body positions. We've seen a ton of that with Johnny going all the way back to his days at Texas A&M.
3rd and goal at the 18. Chiefs have 6 in their secondary. Thrown in back of Barnidge. 4th down, they'll try for 3.
Well, this is bad. This is a throw you've got to make, and this gets back to his feet. You know, we talk about at times he misses throws. This is a simple throw, and he doesn't get his feet set, and it really affects his accuracy, especially on throws to his left.
He looks spent. 36-yard field goal try by Travis Coons, who has 4 blocks in his last 5 games. 36-yarder right here. Sideways wind. Got it. 17-13, and Cleveland creeps closer to Kansas City. 8:26 in the 4th from Arrowhead. Cleveland Browns had it 1st and goal at the 7. They settle for a field goal. They now come to within a 4-point reach of the Chiefs. 4:28-26 to play here in the 4th quarter.
It's a lot of work for 3 points. Wasn't it a 20-play drive?
Well, the other part of that is they kept it out of the hands of the Kansas City offense. Niall Davis, 4 yards deep, will bring it out. With a flag thrown, in fact, 2 flags thrown on the play.
You pushed him.
13.
You got 3 flags. No.
All right, we hear you. 13-yard return.
Daniel Sorensen trying to talk to the referee, talk him out of that one.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 49, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. 1st down, timeout.
There's a look at the Chiefs offense, which has been off the field for 27 minutes of real time. They get it next on CBS. The Chiefs are number 5 in the AFC playoff picture, and with the win today and a loss by either Pittsburgh or the Jets, the Chiefs are in the playoffs. Baltimore has got a 3-point lead on Pittsburgh out in Maryland. 1st and 10. after the 30-yard field goal. 36-yard field goal by Cleveland. That is West, who picks up 4. He's brought down by Dansby at the Kansas City 8.
Kevin, you mentioned that last drive by the Browns offense, 20 plays, almost 30 minutes. The Kansas City offense has been standing over there on the sidelines getting stiff. You kind of got to get yourself warmed up again. Particularly Alex Smith, that right arm. Saw him throwing the ball, playing catch on the sidelines quite a bit during that drive.
34 degrees, 25-mile-an-hour winds. 2nd and 6. Smith. Oh, very close, but a catch right there by Macklin, right in front of Tramon Williams, who looked like he had played it perfectly. They get out to the 14, picking up 7 and a first down.
Well, he sees it all the way, double move, and he does a nice job driving on this ball. He's actually going to try and pick it off. It goes right through his hands and into the hands of Jeremy Macklin. You can see the frustration from Tramon Williams.
Macklin's got a touchdown reception today. Macklin is also over 1,000 yards for a 2nd consecutive season. Last year with the Eagles, this year with the Chiefs. 1st and 10. West digging, and Kruger jumps on his back and brings him down near the 17 with a gain of 3. By the way, Alex Smith has set a new personal high for passing yards in a season. He's now got 124 today. Coming up in the Subway post-game show, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, highlights, and analysis. All coming up from the Subway post-game show on our CBS set in New York. 2nd down, 7. Fake to Wilson, and off to West. Blocked by Kelsey. And a run with Dansby making the stop with Kirksey. A gain of 6 on the play. Let's go back to New York, and here's James.
Important score here, Bart.
Oh, yes. Buck Allen's going to take it in for 3 yards to Baltimore Ravens, showing so much fight. They take the lead 20-10.
KC win.
Get busy right there.
Loss, and KC is in. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Well,
that says a lot. That says a lot about John Harbaugh and that team, Kevin. You saw him last week. There's no quit in the Ravens.
3rd down and 1. West. Look at him dig. Mater is the guy to make the tackle. He's near the 25 and close to a first.
Oh, it's really close.
It is. Oh, that spot is back further, and he does not have the first down. I don't think necessary, Rich. He had to get beyond the 24. And West has been so good on these runs. They may want to challenge the spot. I don't know if the spot.
I think the spot's pretty close. You know, when you watch him come down, I think they're pretty close with the spot. I think they're just going to come up about 6 inches short. You can look at that all you want. I think they got the spot pretty darn close. Andy Reid wants to go for it. He's talking to that offensive line. Andy Reid's
not down, not down.
Yeah, but he's got the ball way back,
right.
by his waist. So that's a pretty good spot.
You're right. I would agree.
Well, Andy Reid's over here talking to, you see him right on the sidelines down here. Oh, there he is.
Offense is staying out.
Yeah, he's going to go for it.
How do you like this call?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know if that's a good decision or not to challenge the spot, but
right.
I don't think they're going to change the spot, but I like the decision to go for it. Look, you can't pick up 6 inches against the 31st ranked run defense. You've got a problem.
Kansas City is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was short of the line of game.
Credit the Browns defense with a big play right there, forcing Kansas City to use that challenge. We'll come back with the outcome moments from now.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by TD Ameritrade.
We're back at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and the Chiefs have challenged a spot by the officiating crew led by Walt Anderson on a 4th and very short run.
I think they're going to lose this challenge. Now the question is going to be whether or not Andy Reid decides to go for it on
After
fourth down.
the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's fourth down. Kansas City will be charged with their first time out of the half. And this is the second and final challenge for Kansas City for the remainder of the game.
Making the tackle, pulling the back so that he can't extend the ball over the first down marker.
I mentioned this earlier. Meter has been consistent on that line defensively. In fact, they like the interior of their defensive line in Cleveland. Big defensive stop. The Chiefs have got to punt Dustin Colquitt. Bad wind to deal with, short punt, and fair caught 42-yard line Travis Benjamin. 35-yard punt. Johnny Manziel back out there, down by 4 on the road on CBS. Over the years, 60 Minutes has reported a lot of mob stories. Watch some of the most memorable on a special edition of 60 Minutes tonight. Only CBS. Johnny Manziel, 2 timeouts. Down by 4 at his 42, first and 10. Isaiah Crowell wrapped up by Poe on a gain to the 43, picking up 2.
Well, you know, Kevin, you and I are just talking during the break. They've had a difficult time getting the ball down the field. They've thrown the ball well outside the numbers. You know, their home run hitter, Travis Benjamin, their deep threat, he's been quiet today. Just the 1 catch. They got Dwayne Bowe dressed out. At some point, they've got to take a shot down the field. They're getting so much one-on-one coverage outside the numbers.
They put the ball at the 43, second down and 8. Crowell remains in 2 tight ends, Dre in motion. Fake, here comes Bailey. Manziel escapes. He dances with Maga. And throws it away. As he takes a seat on the Chiefs bench.
It's a lot of running. It's a lot of running around for that. I mean, it's a lot of work for Johnny Manziel just to get back around the line of scrimmage and throw this one away. But a great effort nonetheless. I mean, he's like a lot of he's a Brett Favre type player, Kevin, in terms of he's got a difficult time giving up on a play. He's going to try and get every last yard or every last chance out of every opportunity. And that's what you love about him. You love the kid's competitiveness, his willingness to want to be great. It's just a process. And you got to be patient with the young quarterback. Having a difficult time getting lined up here.
Moving those very small receivers to the near side, 3rd and 8. They were concerned about the size of the Cleveland receivers against the length and size of the Kansas City secondary. Johnson in the backfield. Time. Benjamin's got the first down to the Kansas City 43. Worked on Peters. Picks up 13. They move the chains for the Cleveland Browns.
We just talked about getting the ball downfield. Really a nice throw by Johnny Manziel on the sidelines. 3-layer route. They had someone go deep to the corner. And Benjamin's working the 3-level throw, which is really nice. They send Gabriel to the deep corner. Benjamin's the in-between route runner. That's where Johnny Manziel decides to go with the football.
1st and 10, Duke Johnson, a block by Pastor. Oh, and he just about broke it free. Maga was the guy to bring him down. It's close to a 10-yard gain. Let's go to James in New York.
A Baltimore touchdown called back and...
Yeah, negated a 100-yard touchdown, and now DeAngelo Williams takes it in for the 2-yard score. 17 carries, 100 yards. They narrowed the gap to 17 to 20.
6:33 left in regulation. Back to Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon.
Le'Veon Bell is out. They get DeAngelo Williams. He's been a godsend for that Pittsburgh offense.
Yeah, he's lost weight. He's thinner, and he's more explosive at the running back position.
1st and 10, Johnson again. Right there into a thicket of Kansas City defenders. It's a gain of 2 on the play, and he's down just inside the Kansas City 30.
Well, field goal doesn't help him in this situation. You look at Mike Pettin. He's been very aggressive in the second half. You got to assume this is 4-down territory for the Cleveland Browns. Got to be aggressive. We talked about it coming into this game. You've got to be the team applying the pressure late.
So on the drive, a 13-yard pass to Benjamin, a 10-yard run to get a first by Duke Johnson Jr. 2nd down and 8. Crowell is in. from the edge. Here comes Ford. The elusive Manziel. Incomplete. Gabriel and Trey were down there around the 10-yard line. 3rd and 8 for Cleveland. Ford just about had him.
Well, this is a problem. They don't even block D. Ford. I mean, this is crazy. Give the quarterback a chance. You turn D. Ford loose. I don't know what Mitchell Schwartz is thinking. You don't even block the Chiefs' best pass rusher at this point with Houston and Holly out. Johnny does a terrific job just avoiding the sack and trying to fit it to his tight end down the field. Big 3rd down for the Browns.
Johnson in 3rd and 8. Thomas the block at the left tackle. It's deflected. It's incomplete. Coverage on the play by Barry. On the tight end, Gary Barnidge. 4th down.
Well, again, another missed throw to his left. As you see the inside breaking route, just watch the quarterback. Watch his left foot. Watch him just open up and just snap this and not follow through, not step into the throw. It's a big reason why he's missing so many throws to his left.
And they're going for it. No surprise here, huh, Rich?
Well, Kevin, you know, in this situation, I mean, if they would have picked up some of it, I would have felt a lot better about it. I'm not as crazy about this decision when you talk about 4th and 7.
4th and 8, going deep, and no one home. He had Benjamin cutting in the middle of the field. He had Jennings stopping at about the 5. On downs, it goes back to the Chiefs. 2:55 to go.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by national mortgage lender Quicken Loans, home buy, refi, power, and by Verizon. Better matters.
The Chiefs take over on downs at their own 30-yard line, leading by 4. If they win, or either the Jets or the Steelers lose, the Chiefs are in, but there's another good defensive stop by the Cleveland Browns. Kruger was there, Shelton was there. No gain in the play on the handoff to West on 1st and 10.
Well, the Browns have played so much better defensively in the second half. And Kevin, you and I were just talking in the break about the decision to go for it on 4th and down.
There was no question in Mike Pettine's mind, but what do you think?
Well, it's 6 and 1.5 dozen the other. I mean, you had 2:55 and 2 timeouts left, and you get the 2-minute warning. Plus, your defense has really been playing well here in the second half. The field goal makes it a 1-point game. You know, look, you're a 3-11 team. I can understand why you make the decision there, but they could have gone either way because of the way their defense has played here in the second half. Kansas City has had a difficult time moving the football against the Browns.
So Cleveland has 1 timeout. Kansas City has 2. Clock obviously stops at the 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 10. Chiefs have had 2 second-half possessions, each resulting in a punt. 2nd and 10 West, hit by Robertson, slowed down, finally taken down on the play by Desmond Bryant with a gain of 5 on the play up to the 35. Timeout, Cleveland. They're empty right now. Coming up in the Subway postgame show, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher scores, news, and highlights with analysis. It's the Subway postgame show coming up next on CBS as Manziel continues to study what he's been doing on offense, but more importantly, looking at what the Chiefs are showing on defense in terms of coverage.
Look at those total yards, just 57 yards of offense in the second half. The Browns have been dominating time of possession. They've been controlling the football. They just have struggled in the red zone. Kevin, that's been a big problem, not just today, but all season for this Cleveland offense.
Rich, if the Browns stop them here, they'll have the stoppage at the 2-minute warning. They're out of timeouts.
Plenty of time.
But they're going to give themselves some time with which to work for Manziel.
Yeah, plenty of ways to stop the clock. Obviously, you can clock it, you have the bounds, you complete pass. Plenty of time if they can get a stop here.
Chiefs have got a couple of tight ends. They get 3 of them. That clump up there. 3rd and 5. The other 2 will block for Kelsey. Great defensive play. Again, Cleveland is right on it. They were all there. Orchard was there. Bryant was there. Big play for the Jim O'Neill coach Cleveland defense. They allow a gain of 1. The clock will tick down to 2 minutes. A big stop, and the Browns are going to get the ball back as the Chiefs punting unit is on the field.
Well, they've seen this play a couple times today from the Kansas City offense, just trying to get the ball to their big tight end. But terrific job. You see a slew of orange helmets there to make that stop, and the reaction from Mike Pettine, who knows his team still has plenty of time here in the fourth quarter.
They'll wait till the 2-minute warning here as you see the difference, the play clock and the game clock. And we are at the 2-minute warning. Manziel's going to get another shot, but he'll have no timeouts, and he's down by 4 on CBS. Chiefs punt team is on the field with a 4th and 4. Manziel has not a single timeout remaining. Travis Benjamin is back for the Browns at about the Cleveland 25. With Colquitt to punt. Wind again grabs it. And out of bounds near the 29. Ricochet is on a play. What's going through the mind of young Johnny Manziel, Rich?
What a great opportunity, Kevin. This is what you live for. I mean, a 2-minute drill situation, but, you know, he's made a lot of big plays. They not so much with that right arm, but with his legs. He's actually rushed for more yards than he's passed. He's got 97 yards rushing on 10 carries, and a lot of them have come off the scramble. They ran the option to his left. Done a nice job keeping his eyes down the field and making some big plays. Really put his team in the position now to have a chance to win it late in the fourth.
Chiefs have had 2 blown fourth quarter leads here at home against the Broncos and Bears. Manziel only one of his last 6 through the air, but he's put up a lot of yards on the ground with his legs. 1st and 10. Johnson in the backfield, blocked by Thomas, the left tackle, in time to throw, and he's got his wide receiver that is caught with a gain of 15 on the play by Darius Jennings. Signed this week, brought up, he's at the 45 and a first down and a gain of 15.
A good way to start the 2-minute drive with a completion.
1st and 10. They cannot stop the clock with a timeout. None left. Manziel, easy throw, incomplete, with Peters defending the wide receiver, Taylor Gabriel. 2nd down and 10.
That doesn't hurt you. The thing he cannot do in this situation is take a sack. Throwing the ball away, not a bad thing. Got to be able to push the ball down the field a little bit. They've got a ways to go. Field goal doesn't help them here. They've got to score a touchdown. Chiefs playing very soft in the secondary, especially in the middle of the field.
6 defensive backs. Sorensen, who wears 49. Running right there. He's going to play in the box. 2nd down and 10. Mack the snap. Manziel on the run. Derek Johnson's got a beat on him. Look at Manziel sidestepping his way for a first down to the Kansas City 43. He picks up 12.
Well, you're better off clocking it. You're better off clocking it. You waste too much time in this situation.
Manziel is over 100 yards on the ground, running himself today. 1st and 10. Looking long and high and incomplete for Gabriel with the coverage by Peters.
Well, that's
2nd and 10.
That's one he'd like to have back. Excuse me, Kevin. He got him there on the sidelines. Taylor Gabriel, he is wide open. Again, look at that footwork. This thing just sails on him. Gabriel's got no chance to make the play. Peters gave Gabriel plenty of cushion on the boundary.
Bo has come in. 2nd and 10. No timeouts.
Well, I like Bo in the game from this perspective, Kevin. You've got a bigger receiver in Bo that can go up and at least get a jump ball. Give the guy a chance to make a play down the bottom of the screen.
2nd and 10.
There it is.
Looking for Bo. And incomplete with coverage on the near side again by the rookie Peters. 3rd and 10 for Cleveland.
And this is what drives you quite crazy. Bo, he leaves the quarterback no room on the boundary. I mean, how can you expect Johnny Manziel to fit this one in? Trying to throw a back shoulder throw. Now you've set the corner up. Now you've got to go over the top. Give Bo a chance to make a play on the rookie Peters.
Kansas City still with the 6 defensive backs. 3rd and 10.
Bo just doesn't have the speed anymore. There it is. Give him a chance.
Manziel Barnidge, first down, 32-yard line, brought down by Parker. Pickup of 12 on the play. No timeouts. Clock continues to tick from the Chiefs' 32. First and 10. They'll clock it. Second and 10.
Well, now you're in a position where you take a couple shots to the end zone. Good job there by Johnny Manziel and this Cleveland offense. Everybody hustling back to the line of scrimmage so you could stop the clock.
So Cleveland begins this drive after the Kansas City punt on their 30. They get a 15-yard pass to Jennings. A run of 12 by Manziel. 12-yard pass right there to the tight end Barnidge. Second down and 10.
And Johnny Manziel, Kevin, can't scramble. He can't run with the football in this situation unless he's able to get out of bounds. You get tackled in bounds, you're in big trouble.
Johnson in the backfield. 6 in the secondary. Second and 10. Here comes Ford. He'll throw it away. Third and 10. And there was a receiver over there. That was Barnidge.
Not surprised to see the Chiefs bring the pressure. D. Ford does a nice job coming off that block and forcing Manziel to work back to his left. Don't allow this quarterback to run to his right, scramble to his right. Make him make that difficult throw moving to his left.
He's been slippery. Manziel has not been sacked today.
He's a tough guy to get on the ground, Kev. We talk about his mobility, his elusiveness back there in the pocket. They've got to start taking some shots at the end zone.
Third and 10. Manziel, deep and incomplete for Benjamin. Coverage by Smith. Fourth and 10. They need the Chiefs 22 for the first.
Yeah, they got a chance to throw it towards the boundary, make a first down, get out of bounds, and still have some time left on the clock. Let's see what the Browns decide to do in this situation. Kansas City's doing a good job getting up the field and really forcing Johnny Manziel to step back up inside in the pocket.
6 defensive backs, fourth and 10. Manziel, it's caught. It's grabbed on the play by Jennings. He's got the first down to the 17-yard line. A pickup of 14. Look at the clock. They got to chalk it. They've got no timeouts. It's over.
They needed about another, Kevin, they needed about another 2 or 3 seconds. That's what happens in that situation. I mean, you complete a ball on the playing field in that situation. It's very difficult for the officials to get the ball spotted in time to call another play.
The Chiefs go to 10-5. They have won 9 consecutive games. And they await the finish of New England and the Jets and Baltimore and Pittsburgh to see if they've gotten in.
Yeah, I mean, you just give yourself almost no chance. It's time for the head linesman. He's got to get the ball back inside to the other official who's got to try and spot the football. Everyone's trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. They just run out of time. You see the reaction of Johnny Manziel. All so close. They just needed another second or two to get another shot.
Another 10-win season for the Chiefs. Up next, the Subway postgame show. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, so long from Kansas City. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Now let's go to James in New York.